Hello, this is Stuart from Hear Me, See Me podcast. And today I've got a guest all the way from North Carolina. We've made sure our clocks are in sync and we're at the right time. And she's a wonderful lady. We got introduced by Ruby at ZeroGapped magazine, which I'll tell you a bit more later. But today I'm interviewing the wonderful Lady Barber, Ash. How are you, Ash?
I'm doing good.
I've got to say as well, Ash is very nervous. So that's a truth, isn't it?
That's very truthful.
She's very, very nervous, but she's willing to have a chat with us today. So Ash, how long have you been a barber?
Since 2011.
All right. So you've been a barber for quite some time.
For a hot minute, yeah.
What took you into it? So when you were younger, how did you go into barbering?
Truthfully, I got a very bad haircut when I was 12. And I have been cutting my own hair and my friend's hair ever since. I really love punk rock, so like I started doing a lot of shaves and stuff like that because all my friends were like, like punk rock and I started getting into like super like fun, cool haircuts and yeah.
So you found your vocation.
I did, yeah. Ironically, from a really bad haircut.
Yeah. So recently you contacted us because, and this is a wild story. Because we got interviewed by, it's not me because ZeroGapped magazine is a female barber magazine. So they contacted Jackie, who runs our northern projects in England, because she's a female hairdresser barber and she's doing the work that we do. And then they're going to feature on it. And you in America happened to see this, didn't you? And it struck a chord with you. You contacted the editor, got on to me, and this is why we're having the chat. So what was it that sort of resonated with you when you saw the article about what Jackie does?
Yeah, I saw the article on Instagram and I asked if we had something like that in the States, and unfortunately we don't have something like that in the States. So I took it upon myself, like why not? Let's do this. So that's what I'm doing.
So have you got your own studio? Have you got your own barbershop?
I do. Yeah, in downtown Asheville, North Carolina, I have my own studio. Yes.
Yeah. And so where did you first start doing the homeless? Was it a local place?
Yeah. We call it A-Hope, but it's basically a day center for Asheville has a very large homeless population, and our centers are overrun. There's not enough places. Like there's not enough housing. Our rents are really high. It's a tourist city. So there's a lot of Airbnbs, but there's not a lot of places to actually live and work here. And again, we have a large homeless population. So what we do have is a day hope center to where the homeless can come every morning and get donuts and coffee and take a hot shower, and they can lock their belongings up in the lockers, and they don't have to carry it on their back all day through the day.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm doing the haircuts at. Yeah.
I think that's a crucial thing, that when some of the places I visit in the UK, that they've not all got that. The lockers thing is really important, because when you're out in the streets and you, like as you say, you've got to carry this stuff around. If there's somewhere you can put it for a few hours so you can just walk freely without everything around you, those
Yeah.
lockers are such a great idea.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. It's almost crucial because, like, you know, well, that, I mean, that goes further into the story. So I personally was homeless when I came to this city, and I kept a bunch of paperwork that I knew that um was very, like, sacred, and that I had to keep, and just having a locker to put it in so I didn't have to keep it in my backpack
Mm.
was very important. So that's why A Hope in Asheville, North Carolina is so important, and that's a great idea. If I wanted, like, personally, like, a change of clothes, I would keep them in my locker,
Mm.
um, you know, just to keep them safe. So clothes, paperwork, supplies, as long as you have one place where you can have a lock, and you don't have to carry it again, carrying it on your back,
Yeah,
um was like what A Hope is doing is, you know monumental, and very grateful that we have that here in Asheville, for
yeah.
sure.
And
Yeah.
like you, so you said that you was like homeless when you got there. Um,
Yeah.
it's hard for people to understand, and it's not being sexist, but I think there's also an additional thing of being a woman, a young woman who's on the streets, because you've got the additional thing of security. So that little base to go to must have meant the world to you to have that one place where you could go.
Honestly, the shower was was the best part.
Yeah,
I would get up every morning out of my tent, and I knew I would just go to A-Hop, and I'd get free coffee and donuts, and I'd get that shower, and it just made me feel like alive, like a real person,
yeah.
So that was crucial, for sure.
And isn't it ironic that the thing, a shower, a coffee, a donut, these things that we just totally take for granted can be like a pot of gold, can't it? That it can be so valuable to someone, in that position.
When you have nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes a donut would be like all that I would eat that day. So thank God there were, like, free donuts and coffee.
yeah,
And then, it also builds, like, a sense of community for a homeless, because it's like we're all there, we're all drinking donuts and coffee, and it just really, puts it home, like, we're not alone, like we're in this together, so that was very nice during that time.
I think it's something I've witnessed. No matter where you are in the world, the atmosphere, the experience is the same with homelessness. That and as well, there's the negatives, but there's the positives of that camaraderie. That you are all in it together. You've got people on your side.
Y- Definitely, definitely, yeah, again, we, like, we're all there for different reasons, but there were so many of us that would, look out for each other, and care for each other, and there were even, like, military vets who
Yeah,
sadly, through PTSD could not, come back, like, to reality. I don't know, but very stand up, beautiful, honest homeless people
Mm.
And you know, there were there were several people who took me under the wing and like just like, you know, cared for me, you know, and when like society wouldn't, you know. So I'm so grateful
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
So you said you were living in a tent. Um,
Yeah.
so there must have. How did you change that circumstance? How did you go from, you know, living in a tent, relying on the service of that wonderful place, to then now being, you know, working, you know, being a, a fantastic lady barber in your own premises? You know, how did you get out of that?
Well, like literally from the ground up, like when I came here, I didn't even have like a backpack. Like I literally came here with like 3 pairs of clothes and like plastic bags. And I hitchhiked here. And when I got here, another homeless person showed me she walked me around and showed me the city. And basically I spare changed for $5 and magically at our Goodwill Center got a $5 backpack, which was great.
Yeah.
And then another homeless friend he had a tent that the door was broken, but he was like, here, sister, you know, because the homeless take care of the homeless
Yeah.
even when society is not taking care of the homeless. So he gave me a tent with a broken door, and as I said, it was January, so it was very, very cold. But I do want to say a lot of strangers and helpers and just like kind, genuine people. Like I had a Christian couple that came in, and they knew that that night was going to be 7 below, so they brought extra blankets to my camp, you know, and like so where I used to camp is actually like high rise condos now, you know, so the city's changing. But I had this beautiful view, and other homeless people showed me safe places to camp,
Yeah.
and we all stayed there, and again, you know, camaraderie, and we all looked out for each other, and I had a tent with a door that wouldn't zip, but I also had like a stranger bring me, you know, like a zero below, you know, sleeping bag.
Yeah.
So I made it, and there was a lot of love, you know. So
That, I think that's the important thing to get across to people, because we know the negatives, you know, but the positives, you know, get across the fact that, you know, homeless people are helping homeless people, whereas maybe the powers that be should be getting in and helping us. It's people helping people, isn't it? You know, and
yeah.
that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm telling you, like people who have been through struggle often are the most quick to be generous and to be kind because they've felt it, they know it, and you know, like I'm telling you, how I made it out of where I was at to where I'm at now is by like the kindness of
Yeah.
other people who have been there or who have struggled or who have had loss. And we really do carry each other, you know. So
Yeah. But also, you must have had a inner determination as well.
oh yeah, yeah. I my circumstances were homelessness, but I didn't identify with it. Like, I knew that that's what had happened to me or where I was at, but there was no part of my mind that I was going to stay there or be there. Obviously I own my own barber studio.
Yeah,
So, but don't get me wrong, it took a lot of fight and it took a lot of perseverance
yeah,
and it took everything in me, like willpower, but I made it out, you
yeah.
know.
And you were
Yeah.
saying to me that you didn't go straight out into barbering because you'd lost all your, like, you hadn't got your tools, you'd come away with nothing. Uh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
expensive to buy, isn't it? So you sort of did everything, like washing dishes and
Yeah. 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 I did a lot of really odd jobs, because when you're living in a tent, you're not necessarily going to be fresh, or like you can't afford the, like, $200 clippers
yeah, yeah,
or any of that. So I literally had to take a break for a second, even just to get the tools that I needed,
yeah,
um, to barber again, and then on top of that, I had to build clientele. And I will point out that coming from homelessness and trying to have the self-esteem to be like, I'm the best barber, I'm gonna hook you up, is actually a really weird, like, headspace to be in.
yeah.
So, because, like, homelessness hurts. It hurts up here. So I had to overcome a lot of insecurities, and I had to fight really hard, but I made it. I made it. So,
You
yeah.
did. And
Yeah.
now you are, in your words, you're a kick-ass barber now.
I am a kick-ass barber. I can do a mean fade, like, for real. Yeah, yeah. Um, like, for sure.
So, you know, what we spoke about, like when you're in your studio and you see the effect that just your work on general public, the guys coming in, get their hair cut, feeling good, walk out high. How how does that reflect on what you do at the homeless shelter?
Um, well, it's similar, but honestly, like, as I said, I've been there, so I'm more like emotionally tied to it.
Yeah,
But like, to see somebody who's not had the ability or the resources to, keep up with themselves, and to give them their sense of self back, or to even get them looking right to where they can get that job that
mm,
they want, like it's satisfying to me, it's satisfying to them, but it's again, I was there, so I know what it's like to want to be who you really are, and and to be overlooked. So I really, really, really just want to show them that they are worthy of, you know, looking fantastic. I want them to strut their stuff into that new job. I want them to, like, I want them to feel life again, like that's a gift that I can give,
yeah.
so
It's
yeah.
I've had it said to me many times that from guys on the street, women on the street, about they feel invisible.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely I personally can relate. When you're homeless, like, you know, I got makeup on now, but like, when you're homeless, like there's so many people that I guess they're too busy or they got their own stuff they're working on, but like you really are invisible, and like you really are like the homeless actually help the homeless, and there is a lot of camaraderie,
Mm.
but I can't tell you how many times that like I became homeless out of circumstance. I lived in a house before I became homeless, but to just be overlooked or to just like not even feel like part of society or human was it hurts, for sure. Like and if I can do my small tiny part and give that back, then I'll do it.
I mean, you just said there to not feel human, and
Yeah.
that is the ultimate right of any human on this planet. To feel anything less than that is just isn't right. Um, and the thing
Yeah.
is, I've met many people who live in a tent, but I've never met anyone who's always lived in a tent. There's generally that thing, like you said, I lived in a house. There was life before, and for
Yeah.
you, there's life after. But unfortunately, for some, there isn't
Yeah.
life after, is there? You know?
Yeah. But on the other hand, like uh, here in America, our resources are overwhelmed. So a lot of people will fall through the cracks.
Yeah,
Like I would love for there to be more, but that's just the way it is currently. And yeah, so the main thing is that homelessness can be a temporary crisis, but I personally feel like it's our job as a society to like help. Like there's not enough help. We need to help,
yeah,
Like that's what I needed when I was homeless.
yeah,
And and but there needs help, and the way that you feel about yourself can help. So if I can just make you feel normal, like how you used to feel, if I can give you that cut to get that job, like party on, let's do it, so
and the thing as well is how you can help as well is that because you've been in that position, and then you've got through that position, and then now you're in where you are now, and yet you're
yeah,
still giving back to do it. You're not forgotten that now. Because some people, they think, right, I'm okay now. I've got my own place of work. I'm cool. Right, everything's good, and then they just move forward. But like, it's important for people like me, people like you, to then keep looking back and keep going. No, I've got to give some time out, because as we said earlier, it's like it's almost a selfish thing because we get so much out of it, don't we, when we just do that. you know
yeah. I mean, yeah, like I can definitely say there's like a selfish part of me that like enjoys
yeah.
helping other people who, I've been there, I get it. But, so yeah, like it's selfish and it's rewarding for
Yeah,
me, but but definitely at the same time, like like we're all in it together,
Yeah.
like all in it together. I wish more people would like take their blinders off, you know, like we're all in it together for
Yeah.
sure.
And I think it's not until you get involved in places, like if you take the time out to go and meet homeless people, to go to a homeless centre, firstly you realise that everyone's just normal. They're just people. They've all got their own stories. But then you can't walk back out and then put the blinkers back on. I think once they come off, they stay off because you're aware of another world
I
that's
would
out
hope so. Yeah, I
there.
mean, I would hope so. You know, some people have their own agenda or probably are better at like compartmentalizing stuff like that. But I know for me, I mean, I'm doing haircuts at the place that I showered at in the morning and like use the lockers. So like,
Yeah,
you know, like I still I've been in Asheville for 6 years and like I still walk down, you know, I work downtown, so I still see like my homies that are
yeah,
still like doing their thing and we'll be like, hey, hey, you know. So like I haven't forgotten about them, you know, and like and you know, they haven't forgotten about me. But I really do want to point out like it does something to you when you help other people.
yeah,
Like you can't buy that, you know, and we like it just makes me feel so good to give somebody confidence or self-esteem or any of that, you know, like so um I literally I just want to I want to help. I want other people to like do what I do, like you know, like what about you? You can be homeless, get a haircut, get a job, work your way up, you know, start your own company, like, you know, do more things, like, you know, like get involved. That's for sure. Like that's so important. It's just get involved. It's not about you.
yeah,
Like you know, like that's my piece. Like it's not about me, it's not about like let's just like do it. We're all in this together, you know, on this weird world, like, you know, going in motion. But like let's do shit, like, you know. So I was inspired by ZeroGapped, and so I'm here in the States, and it'd be cool if it turned into something more, you know.
yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, it's by example, isn't it? So the more people ironically, we get lots and lots of messages. And you messaged us yourself,
Mhm.
but we're a little tiny little charity in the UK, so we feel a responsibility to not start giving advice to people in America because we don't know the legislations there and things like that. But hopefully that's going to change because we do want to get so that we know the situation there more. I'm hoping when the pandemic's over and travel's back as it should be, that I can eventually get over to America. And then we can find a way of making this something that can be rolled out there so that everyone can take it up, you know, in every city and every town, because everyone needs the help and they need people like you who are going to help by example and go out there and do the work.
Yeah, yeah. And like, you know, legislation is whatever. If enough voices say something, that
Yeah,
does change, by the way. So,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
If the legislation don't fit, change the legislation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So how's the studio? How's things? Has work going there?
Well, so, you know, it's pretty new. It's growing. I have my loyal clients who
Yeah,
love me. I'm a little bit quirky, but like they love me. So No, it's all good. And they all know that I'm doing haircuts for, for homeless. They don't know that I was homeless,
They might now.
but, but they definitely know that I have, like, I'm a philanthropist at heart.
Yeah,
So, so they definitely know that I got this going on. That's why Thursdays aren't bookable anymore,
yeah.
um, because I'm
You,
out there killing it.
are you doing that
But
every week?
every week, yeah,
Right.
yeah, there's a sign up sheet every week. I'm telling you, so a lot of people come to Asheville, North Carolina because the weather isn't that bad, and we do have a lot of, like, meals that we give out to the homeless,
Yeah,
and it's a wealthy people's tourist destination, but it's also very artistic.
right.
And that being said, like, we are home there are, like, we have a program called Homeward Bound.
Right.
There are always at least minimal 500 homeless people sleeping outside in my city every night.
Yeah,
Every That's 500 people every night. We have, when we do have harsh winters, people die. We call it code purple. People die, like, in their sleeping bags. Like, so all that shows to me is there's not enough people caring,
no,
so we have to care. Somebody's got to care. I work with Beloved, and they have started a program where we clean up campsites, and they've started to give our COVID vaccinations and whatnot. And then, as I said, there are charities that give out a free hot meal every day
no.
and whatnot. Um, but I would love to see more people, like, we got to get together. We got to do
Yeah,
this to help.
yeah.
Like, we got to.
People's army.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People helping people.
Who the hell else is gonna do it if we don't do it? Let's do it. Let's do something. Like, shoot.
Well, it's been inspiring talking to you today. I've really enjoyed it. You're a very shy lady, so it took a while to get you to start before. We had a nice long chat before, but I've really enjoyed it, and I think it's so crucial. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for sort of sharing your experience, because it's going to help a lot of people. You know, um,
Yeah,
it's
I hope
crucial.
I hope so. Yeah. Um. Again, like, yeah. So my story. I used to be homeless. I did everything in my power to get my life together. Not every homeless person is capable of that,
No,
but if what I'm doing can inspire more other people, or awareness, or to care, you guys, like, inspired me to do it in the States. So let's do it. Like, rock on, like.
I'm sure they will. But Ash, it's been a real pleasure, and I'll keep in touch, and we'll I'll put you on my. I'm gonna do a world tour, and you're gonna put. You just put North Carolina on my map, because I've got to come out there and have a cup of coffee with you and do some cutting with you. It's got to be done.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're in a city nestled in the mountains, so you'll love it. And
Thanks.
we have good coffee. Yeah.
Good, good. That's always gets me there. Well, thank you so much, and you take care of yourself.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.